you are in the urban area, you don't even know your friends so well. You met them probably 2 weeks ago. You want to open a Chama and make it succeed. It won't work. Too much risk for no reason. Why do you want that risk? You don't need that risk. Hey, what's up guys? We're going to be doing raw and real today. It's a short, brief discussion that I welcome you to contribute on, and you can say whatever you want. You can, basically bring your point of view as long as it is respectful and it goes with the terms and conditions of YouTube. So on our raw and real this Wednesday, we want to talk about Chamas. Quite a number of people have been asking me about Chamas lately. So people are always asking, okay, Ken, do Chamas work? Should I invest in a Chama? Is it an investment? Should I save money in a Chama? So for those who are not in Kenya or those who don't understand Swahili, when I say Chama, I simply mean cooperative societies or those small micro savings groups that people do join. Right now you can find Chamas everywhere, not just in rural areas. So guys, we just want to look at Chamas. Do Chamas work? Do Chamas work in this current environment? If you're an investor, if you're someone who wants to save money, if you want to make some money, will Chamas be a way of making wealth for you? That's the discussion we want to have. So what I always tell people, all my clients, when they come to me for finance coaching, they do ask me about Chama, because a number of them do belong to Chamas, and that's normal in Kenya, that's normal in Africa. Chamas or cooperative societies or whatever it is you want to call them are very common in Africa. So Chama is not an uncommon thing, and someone belonging to a Chama, basically you just belonging to something that you have been drilled and taught as normal. And that's why we should normalize teaching our children about investments, because whatever it is you teach, whatever it is they see you do, is what they will do later in life. So whatever you normalize in their lives, not just financial, but in all other ways, is what they will normalize. So a lot of young people have normalized Chama because this was normalized to us as kids. For example, when I was growing up, my mom was always in a Chama. And to be honest, Chamas really helped her in paying our school fees because she didn't have enough money. We were going to private schools, it's expensive. And then, of course, we went to very expensive high schools. Again, that was costing money. Then, of course, to campus. Again, she was paying. So I do believe that Chamas actually contributed to me being here today. But I'm here to say Chamas may not be working perfectly well for a young person in the current environment. I'm not saying they should be disbanded, because they still serve a purpose. But the purpose they're serving now is not really financial as such. It's more of like a social capital for most people. So in my opinion, this is how it is. And when we're talking about Chamas, I've mentioned we're talking about cooperative societies. There are many different variations of Chamas. Whether we're talking about the merry-go-rounds whereby you collect money together, every single month that money goes to one person as a cumulative amount, or you're talking about the savings one whereby you buy shares into a company, they invest more like a unit trust, so they invest that money into a particular determined investment. Or if you're talking about cooperative societies, like the one that farmers belong to, or different groups of people in different sectors, depends on whichever way you're looking at it, they are still Chamas. But the most common one is the merry-go-round, whereby people contribute money and then at last you get your own money. Or the ones whereby people contribute money, invest in one particular determined investment in the village or whatever it is, in towns. That is what we mean when we're talking about these Chamas. And these Chamas are very common, especially in East Africa and specifically in Kenya. Most people do ask me, are they still working? My opinion is this. Chamas can work. Chamas have worked in the past because there were lack of certain institutions and resources and paths and literacy and options for those people who use Chamas, and they did use it quite well. The things that made Chama work, one of them was the social fabric of the society. People had trust. There was a clear value system. Things were working. We did not need proper codes. We did not need proper channels of addressing certain issues because there was trust and there was a very good foundation when it comes to values. The society has lost its fabric when it comes to value. The society has lost the moral fabric. Everyone is so individualistic and money-minded that they forget about certain values in life. And that makes it so difficult for Chamas to work in the current environment. That's just one reason. That's one reason why I think that Chamas would not work for most people in the current environment. That moral fabric that held these Chamas together is lost now. And most young people do not have that respect, that determination, that discipline, and the morals to ensure that they do not do something wrong. Because remember, when you are in a merry-go-round, you get your money, and then probably it takes a year or even more before you get your money back. And you have to make sure that every single person gets their turn. So it has to be someone who's very disciplined, can manage their money well, and can also keep their word, that will make sure that this Chama or merry-go-round remains stable. Second thing why I think Chamas may not work in the current environment is because we have choices. Now, I would ask myself, why would you want to invest in a Chama and take the many risks that come with a Chama instead of investing in more safe environments? For example, the money market funds. Why would I want to be dealing with some people and worrying if my friend will jolt out before my turn comes? Why do I want to be worrying about my friend who may run away with the money? Why do I want to be worrying about how someone is managing their money? Because the moment I'm giving them money, I'm careful on how they manage their money, because that would affect me. So the risks are just too many, and there are no proper channels of addressing such risks, because it's an argument between people, right? So there's no proper channel of addressing such risks. So you're taking way more risks dealing with individuals than if you actually took your money and invested it somewhere else. So in that regards, why do you want to take more risks and more work, even emotionally speaking, to get nothing back? You're just getting your money back, right? That's another reason why I think they don't work. They worked in rural areas, and mainly for our moms, because there was that social fabric between them. They had that social capital. These women groups were not just for money purposes. The women came together to ensure that the community was served the way it was supposed to be served. In that, when there was a problem or an issue, they all came together to help each other. And they're also friends. They were very good friends. They maintained those friendships. They maintained that closeness. And that helped them build that foundation of trust and knowing each and every person within that group before someone joined. It was something that was done having a very rigorous process that is not only legal, but also social. So for you to even get into such cycles, you had to know they had to know your history, they had to know who you are and what you do and how you get money. And they knew all these things, in the community. Now you are in the urban area, you don't even know your friends so well. You met them probably 2 weeks ago. You want to open a Chama and make it succeed. It won't work. Too much risk for no reason. Why do you want that risk? You don't need that risk. You can take that money, invest in a more safe area, which is going to give you even more assured and guaranteed returns, like money market funds. Like sometimes people want circles, can go to circles. So in that sense, Chamas don't work now, in my opinion. Third reason is, anytime you want to invest, you want to look at the rate of return. Why do I want to go to a Chama, save my money for 12 months, get the same amount of money that I invested in there? That's not an investment. You want to get a good return out of it. Money market funds give you 10%, 11%. Why would I want to give my money to somebody and then get the same amount back? If I want to save liquid money, for example, I can save it in money market funds or in the bank, right? I can also have a circle, which will give me more opportunities, or even borrowing money if I have to borrow money. So in terms of return on investment, it doesn't have anything right now. There's no Chama that competes. And then when it comes to loans and things like that, Chamas are still very high. If you get a Chama that gives loans to members, they sometimes give at 20% a month. That's very high. If you go to a SACCO, go somewhere else, you will find much lower interest rates with regards to your loans, and therefore better return on your investment. So in that sense, Chamas don't work. What I'm saying simply is too much risk for no reason. Chamas are too much risk for no reason in the current environment. We lack the social fabric. We have lots of choices available to us. We also have education available to us. Therefore, we can invest in more complicated instruments that will give us much better returns. And again, we're also talking about the friendship. We don't have that friendship. We don't have that connection between our people to establish a kind of a relationship. And another thing that I have to mention is that personal finance management. Every single person in a group has a way of managing their finances. As an individual, I don't want to be worrying about how someone else is managing their finances. One thing that people do ignore is the fact that if we are going to have these investments together, I need to share the same financial values with you. If I do not share the same financial values with you, chances are at some point we're going to collide, or someone is going to mess up the whole thing. People don't get into that. So I have a group of people, 10 people, everyone has been referred by someone. I do not know how the other people manage their money. I do not know how good they are with their money. So I'm taking a risk that I don't even understand in the first place. And then there's no return on the investment. And if I take a loan, it's much higher interest rate. And then I have to worry about all these people. And then I'm saving the same amount of money and getting the same back. So basically I'm losing because that's inflation, So Chamas cannot work in our current environment. I don't think they should. I think they should be retained in the rural area because they bring that connection and that foundation of not just economic, but also social issues. And they bring very deep friendships between our moms and their friends and build a proper community like we had before. Those who are young, who have more options like me, I don't think you should get into a Chama. It's basically waste of time, waste of money, waste of energy, and too much risk for no reason. That's my take. Let me know your take on the comments below. And of course, it's an open discussion. You can tell me what you think on Raw and Real and MoneyMatters.
One's a company, two's a crowd, three's a party, come move.